Hi, welcome to today's presentation by Marcia Merrins on the League. And Marcia is a longtime League member, been active in our League, Chautauqua County, for many years, and also at the state level, former president. She's done lots of work in the League, so she's one of the best people to tell you about what the League does and the history of the League. So I'm Lisa Mertz, I'm the program coordinator, and here's Marcia.
Good morning, everyone. Actually, it's so snowy here. It's nice that we have the ability to use Zoom. What you see on your screens is going to be a short video put together by the League of Women Voters of Massachusetts. It was probably done for the 100th anniversary of the League, and I think it gives a little bit of background in an entertaining and concise way. And then I will talk more about the structure and the way the League operates now. So here we go.
The adoption of the 19th Amendment to the U.S. Constitution in 1920 stated that the right of citizens to vote shall not be denied or abridged by the United States or by any state on account of sex. The 70-plus year struggle for women's suffrage was led by Lucy Stone from Massachusetts and Susan B. Anthony and Elizabeth Cady Stanton from New York. None of these early leaders lived to see the amendment adopted. New leaders Alice Paul, Mary Church Terrell, and Carrie Chapman Catt brought suffrage over the finish line. Catt founded the League of Women Voters in 1920, just 6 months before the 19th Amendment was ratified. Many states also created leagues that year, including Massachusetts. The League began as a mighty political experiment designed to help 20 million women carry out their new responsibilities as voters and encourage them to use their new power to participate in shaping public policy. League founders believed that maintaining a nonpartisan stance would protect the fledgling organization from becoming mired in the party politics of the day. However, League members were encouraged to be political themselves by educating citizens about and advocating for government and social reform legislation. At the first National League Convention in 1920, Maud Wood Park from Boston was elected president, serving for 4 years and laying the foundation upon which the League was built, much of which remains today. The League of Women Voters emerged a century ago from the women's suffrage movement with its primary goal to educate women to become informed voters. Nonpartisan political activism and voter education and engagement remain at its core today, reflected in our mission, empowering voters, defending democracy. The League continues to evolve as a dynamic organization where all people are welcome to contribute to our mission. As we begin our next 100 years, the League of Women Voters reaffirms our commitment to embrace every opportunity to make our American democracy work for everyone.
So that was, I thought it was rather done well, a quick overview of the history of the League and how it came to be. And I hope you noticed that in one of the slides that they showed there was a League of Women Voters voted count signs. I hope you got to see that. That's ours. So now I'm going to, hopefully, there we go. So welcome to the League, or what have I gotten myself into? And I phrased it like that because when I was in my 30s, a good friend of mine named Pat Christina dragged me to a meeting of this women's organization. Well, and it was in the basement of a church, and it was a luncheon, and the women there were 10 to 15 years older than I was at the very least. but oh, what a dynamic group, and the things they talked about and the issues that they put before me at that point was just so interesting, and I was hooked. But initially I just did it as a favor. So many years ago, when I was on the national board, we were trying to figure out a way to describe what the League of Women Voters does in a concise sentence, kind of like an elevator speech. And this is the phrase we put together. So because we're a grassroots organization, everything that we do is pretty much hands-on, and safeguarding democracy or promoting laws and policies that improve civic life for all is something that we strive for. I don't know if I can, I'm trying to move this bar out of the way. There it is. So in this presentation, you will see kind of graphically the structure of the League, and maybe have an idea of what to say when somebody asks you, what is the League? What is this women's organization? You just have lunches. So hopefully after you have seen the video and this PowerPoint, you will share your enthusiasm about why the League is so important. So we're a grassroots organization. And I don't know if you can see the arrow on the right side of your screen, but it is structured from the bottom up. Even though we have a national presence, the League of Women Voters of the United States, and that basically consists of all the state and local leagues around the country. So the New York State League is one of 50 state leagues. And of course, within New York State, we have local leagues. Right now, approximately, we are one of 46 local leagues in New York State. Now, over the past 20, 30 years, the numbers have gone down because there are many more political and not-for-profit organizations that work for the same causes, but it doesn't minimize the impact that we have in Chautauqua County and New York State, and therefore throughout the United States. So we have been considered one of the most trusted organizations in New York State. And that's kind of funny because when I was on the state board, I put out an email to the membership. I was membership chair at the time at the national level. And I left out the letter T in trusted. And it said, we are the most rusted organization. And I think if you look at our demographics, it's probably a little bit true. So there are many more women in the workforce and active rather than at home. But so we are rusted and trusted, but we're a great organization. So there are two arms of the League. We have an advocacy arm of the League, which studies policy issues at the local level. And we teach advocacy, and we can lobby all different kinds of ways that I'm sure you're all familiar with. Many more actually with current technology. And then we have the education part of the League. And a big part of that is voter service. And the three arms of that are debates, registering voters, voters guides, and then we have issue forums and youth initiatives, which carry through to bring activism to our younger generations. So it's a little confusing for people who are not familiar with the League in that the difference between being political and being nonpartisan A lot of people feel you can't do both in the same organization. But we do. We stick to issues after we study the issues and there is substantial agreement by members. We are active politically, but when we speak with the voice of the league, it is in a nonpartisan framework. So where do the positions come from? As I mentioned before on a previous slide, the league study issues, and that's at the local level. And then at the local level, at our annual meeting in the spring, we decide what issues we're going to study. And then the state level does the same at their convention, and they select issues of priority that they're going to study. And at the national convention, they do the same. So whatever positions they take must be addressed by government at the level in which they were adopted. Consensus equals member agreement. We don't vote on positions. We get a consensus that most members can agree with. And you reach the consensus basically by forming a study committee. Several years ago, we had a study committee at Chautauqua studying transportation in Chautauqua County. And they researched the topic. They presented their findings to our members at a membership luncheon meeting. We formulated consensus questions. And then we submitted the consensus responses to whatever level of league is appropriate. And for us, it was our local boards around New York State. We do advocacy, and we all know that. We do it with getting letters into the newspaper, press releases. We have public meetings such as this one that we're going to have following this orientation to educate voters. Email alerts at the National League and the State League. We lobby. We used to have lobbying day at New York State in Albany. And we have the opportunity to actually visit our legislators in their offices or in Mayville, and definitely communicating what we want them to support by writing, emailing, or phoning. So how do we participate? How do we educate voters? One of the big things we do at the local level are candidates forums. And I think we do a pretty good job with that. We used to have presidential debates, but we withdrew in 1988 because all of a sudden advertisers and political parties got involved with directing how we should run it. So we have bowed out of that. And according to what I see on TV, maybe that wasn't such a great thing. Gail Crow kind of organizes a lot of our registration drives locally, and other leagues around New York State and the country do similar type events. And that's very important to us to get people registered and get them motivated to cast a vote. You probably all know that you receive emails from New York State that we advocate for accessibility, of course, and we encourage the fullest participation in the electoral process. So, we take positions on districts, redistricting, and we like to see how things are done. And it's very important for us to promote these policies at the state and national level. So that's pretty much it.
That's not right.
I'll be happy to answer any questions if anybody has any, and we'll continue after that. With that, I guess I will turn it over to Lisa or Mary, whoever wants to jump in there.
Okay, hi. Let me put my video on. All right. Thanks. I think people are going to be jumping in hopefully at 10:30. So I will wait a few minutes, I think, to introduce Bill and